side of overtime in the postseason, and he said recently in an interview with Yahoo Finance that he is not concerned with the recent changes made to the rules. Take a listen.
Your job is to find a way to win the game no matter how long it takes. I'm sure there'll be moments where you feel like it's a good decision, but then there'll be moments when you score that touchdown first and you feel like it's a bad one. So I think you just go out there and play and try to win the game whatever way.
Now, the new OT rule in the postseason gives each team a chance to possess the ball. Under previous rule, the team who won the coin toss could win the game if they scored a touchdown on the first possession. I love this rule change because every single time we went to OT, I was like, whoever wins the coin flip, they're going to win the game. And it was kind of like that. In 12 playoff games since the NFL adopted the new rule, teams that won the coin toss were 10-2.
Yeah, in the regular season, I think it's 45-55, whatever team wins. But in the postseason, I think this was a rule change that had to be made.
To happen.
You have the best quarterbacks, the best offenses, the best coaches on the field. It can't be that punitive to lose a coin toss. You have to be able to give both offenses an opportunity to score. And I understand it feels like it's, demoting defense, but you can't have all the rules benefiting the offense, protecting the quarterbacks the way that you do, opening up the middle of the field the way that you have to benefit the offense, and then expect these defenses to be able to get a stop when Patrick Mahomes can score in 13 seconds. It's just it's nonsense. So I think it was an absolute, and the statistics support it, as you just mentioned. So it's a change that had to be made.
Yeah, but Mahomes is right. Your job is to just go out there and win, regardless of the rule is, but I am happy about this rule
it was the right
change.
choice.
Okay. Well, Patriots owner Robert Kraft said earlier this week that he is bothered by the fact the Patriots haven't won a playoff game in the past 3 seasons, and he acknowledged that there's need to improve with his young quarterback. This year will be very telling to come into something as new as this, as established. I think he got beat up pretty bad, and he kept coming back and getting up and really doing some great stuff. Just the way he handles himself, he took some real beatings and hopped up. I'm very happy with what I've seen, but this year is big, the second year.
Ooh.
Now, Mac Jones last season, he went 10-7. They finished second in the AFC East. They lost to the Bills in the wild card round, but this was his rookie season, okay? And you also have to remember, he is filling some big shoes. The GOAT, Tom Brady, who won 6 Super Bowl rings there. It's going to take some time. And before him, they had Cam Newton filling in, and he got COVID, so he wasn't the same. And then you have a rookie quarterback come in, facing pro NFL players for the very first time, still did pretty decent. Got to cut him a little slack, not a ton, but a little. But interesting that the owner is saying this is a telling
he's
year
enjoyed
for him.
2 decades of the highest level of success with the greatest player of all time. It's, welcome to the real world. This is how the rest of us suffer. No, Mac had a nice rookie season. He was in the Rookie of the Year conversation. He did some nice things. He obviously has some room to develop. It looks like a little bit like he has a ceiling, but that's what the scout was on him coming into the draft. I think that they'll be interesting this year. They lost Josh McDaniels, and they still don't have a lot of strong weapons, so we'll see what happens. I think the Dolphins are ahead of them in the division right now, but he's going to have to take a big step up. The difference is from New England and the rest of that division and really the rest of the league is they've enjoyed that level of success for so long. Their expectations are going to be very high. I don't know how long the patience is going to be for it. I mean, it should be long. He's not only replacing the greatest player of all time, but this is a new world where you have to have weapons and you really need to lean into the offense. And, is Belichick going to be able to make that pivot? We'll see.
I don't know.
That's Alex Curry with the news.
Well, that's the news.
But we will start with Nets-Bucks last night, which was an incredible game, just a basketball showcase. And I'm really looking forward to these playoffs because we're going to get a lot of games like this because of the parity in the NBA this year. But 120-119 win by the Bucks in overtime. It was the Giannis show last night. Just an unstoppable force, unbelievable performance by him. 44 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, and had an incredible moment during the game to tie it up.
Onto the Kumbo, Drummond's on him. Step back 3 for the tie. Got it! Got it! Giannis ties the game and becomes the Bucks' all-time leading scorer on 1 stroke.
It's only fitting. Only fitting. If you're going to pass the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you might as well do it in spectacular fashion.
Just brilliance. Brilliance out of Giannis last night. It was back and forth all game, obviously went to overtime, and he had an incredible night. And now we are passing into the overreaction phase, or just reaction phase. And I don't want to be the person that overreacts game to game during the regular season in the NBA, but we do have a lot of evidence at this point of what each team is. And my reaction to that game last night, as I'm watching it, it's an incredible performance by Milwaukee, an incredible performance by Brooklyn, is that Brooklyn is still not there. And it's not because they lost this game. Had they won this game, I still would have felt the same way. Brooklyn is not deep enough to go in a 7-game series with a team like Milwaukee. Now, that being said, I still think that the top of the East is wide open. As amazing as Giannis has been in the MVP conversation again, which is astonishing, his performance last night and how he has played throughout the season, very deserving, although I don't think he will win. They are a complete team. They are the reigning champions. They deserve the respect of that. The Nets are the 8 seed for a reason. They are not a deep team. They have been up and down with injuries all year. They've dealt with Kyrie playing half the games all year. Now, obviously, everyone is back and complete, but I don't think that they can go in a 7-game series against a team like Milwaukee. That being said, that is not an indictment of Kevin Durant. Now, my friend Nick Wright clearly feels otherwise, and he tweeted something very interesting last night. We were talking about it in the meeting and on our prep calls last night about Giannis and KD and just where the league is with who the best player in the league is right now. And Nick Wright clearly feels like Giannis has surpassed Kevin Durant. I don't know if we have his tweet. Nick tweeted, "I legit feel for KD. He had to be the second best to LeBron for a decade, and the moment he might have passed LeBron, Giannis passed him. Second player out of high school, second pick in the draft, second best player in the NBA for life, legit awful luck." Now, look, I vehemently disagree with this. There have definitely been moments, even throughout KD's career before this moment in Brooklyn, where he was the best player in the league. If I recall correctly, he did beat LeBron in a series, several of them. He is an astonishing player, and it is not an outrageous statement to say that Kevin Durant is the best player in the NBA. Is Giannis incredible? Did he have a showcase last night? Yes. But you're splitting hairs here. It is not a for sure thing that Giannis is the best player in the NBA above Kevin Durant. On any given night, KD can do exactly what Giannis did last night. We've seen it time and time again. KD has more rings than Giannis. So, look, I'm not arguing against Giannis. I am not arguing for KD. All I'm saying is the best player in the league is not a LeBron in the field situation anymore. It is much more even than that. By the way, shout out to Danielle, who immediately got involved in that conversation, said she's on KD's side. KD did respond to it. It's a nice back and forth on Twitter if you want to check it out after the show, of course, not right now. Right now, you have to pay attention. But as amazing as that game was last night, it's not an indictment of KD. I don't think that the Nets are capable of winning a 7-game series. And that's actually a testament to KD, because as good as Kyrie is still and the contributions that they have overall, they are not a deep enough team or a strong enough team defensively to go in a 7-game series. 1-game series, a tournament style, sure. I maybe would even pick KD, but it's too much. I think that the Nets are set up for next year. If Kyrie comes back, I don't want to hear about Ben Simmons. I don't need an update on Ben Simmons. Let me know when he's ready to play. There is no point in following the Ben Simmons saga anymore. It seems endless. I'm not interested. When Ben Simmons is ready, we'll know. Until then, I'm not going to speculate. But that was an amazing game last night, a great showcase for basketball. I don't think there's anything too crazy to react to. We have enough evidence that the Nets are not very deep. They're an 8 seed for a reason. Giannis is incredible. KD's incredible. Hate to be that person. Hope both teams had fun, but you can't decidedly say that Giannis is that much better than Kevin Durant. That is an overreaction to that performance last night, as good as Giannis is. All right, well, let's transition to Bruce Arians. We got some big news yesterday. Good choice by Bruce to do this during the week and not on April Fool's, because no one would have believed him. It's a good point, Alex. You got to wait. You got to be very strategic with these things. Well, he has announced that he is retiring, and Todd Bowles is taking over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, there are a lot of theories being thrown around. Colin talked a little bit about his feelings on the matter yesterday, and what's, there's this feeling that maybe Bruce Arians stepped aside because of some animosity with Tom Brady. I don't believe that. I just have a really hard time believing that after 20 years in New England with one of the crankiest coaches in sports outside of Greg Popovich, that he just couldn't stand another year in the sunshine with Bruce Arians. I just can't buy into that. Do I think that there was some tension? Do I think there were some butting heads? Do I think there were some differences in philosophies that needed to be sanded out? Yes, of course.